Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhavam Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivardhari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Shri Guru Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th Canto, Chapter 14, text number 6. The chapter is called The System of Universal Management.
Сегодня Шримад-бхагаватам мы читаем 14 глава. Глава называется
Yes, this whole chapter is just to show that there is a supreme controller, and all the organized things that go on in the material nature are doing so because there's a supreme controller. Okay.
Октябрь 28 понедельник.
Okay. Halayanti Prajapala
Palayanti Prajapala
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yavatanta Vipkagasaha
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yanadraja Kajodeva
Ye cha tatran vitashchatai
Yecha Tatra Vitaschatva
Halayanti Prajapala
Palayanti Prajapala
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yavatanta Vipkagasaha
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yajnathaga Pujodeva
Ye cha tatra vitashchatai
Yecha Tatra Vivastatra
Halayanti Prajapala
Palayanti Prajapala
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yavatanta Vipkagasaha
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yajnathaga Pujodeva
Ye cha tatran vitashchatai
Yecha Tatra Vitaschata Palayanti Prajapala
Palayanti Prajapala
Yavat Atma Vipkagachaha
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yajnabhaga Pujodeva
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yecha Tatra Vitaschatan
Ye cha tatran vitashchatai
Palayanti Prajapala
Halayanti Prajapala
Yavadantam Vibhag Jashaha
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva Ye cha tatran vitashchatai
Halayanti Prajapala
Halayanti Prajapala
Yavad Antanam Vibhagasa
Yavad Antang Vibhagashaha
Yagnathaga Bhujo Deva
Yagya Bhaga Bhujo Deva
Yachatat Ran Vitaschataye
Ye cha tatran vitashchatai. Word for word. Halayanti,
Palayanti
execute the order.
Execute the order
Prajapalaha,
Prajapalaha
the rulers of the world,
The rules of the world
namely the sons and grandsons of Manu.
Next to sons and grandsons of Manu
Yavat Antam,
Yavatantam
unto the end of Manu's reign.
At the end of Manu's reign
Vibhagashaha,
Vipkagasaha
in divisions.
Individual
Yagya Bhaga Bhujaha,
Yagyaha Pujava
the enjoyers of the results of yagyas.
The enjoy of the result of the young
Devaha,
Devaha
the demigods.
Vigraha
Yea,
Ye
others. Cha,
Cha
also.
Alpha
Tatra,
Tatra
Tatra Anvitaha,
Tatra Amritaha
engaged in that business.
Engaged in the business
Cha,
Cha
also.
also
Tai,
Tai
by them.
Vaisa
Translation. To enjoy the results of sacrifices, yagyas, The rulers of the world, namely the sons and grandsons of Manu, discharge the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until the end of Manu's reign. The demigods also share the results of these sacrifices.
Повелители мира, сыновья и внуки Ману, вплоть до окончания Манватары, исполняют повеление Верховной Личности Бога. Это позволяет им наслаждаться плодами жертвоприношений, ягни, которые они делят с полубогами.
Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 2, Evang pang para praptam imang rajarshayo vidu. Quote, the supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. End quote. This parampara system extends from Manu to Ikshwaku, from Ikshwaku to his sons and grandsons. The rulers of the world in the line of hierarchy execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the parampara system. Anyone interested in peaceful life must participate in this parampara system and perform yagyas. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the parampara system of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we must perform Sankirtan Yagya all over the world. Yagnai Sankirtanat Prayar Yayanti Hi Sumeda Shaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this age of Kali, and he will be easily satisfied if the Sankirtan movement is spread vigorously all over the world. This will also make people happy without a doubt. Om Jnana Timiranda Shagana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this knowledge has been handed down from the beginning of the universe. What we are getting now from Srila Prabhupada in the form of these books, the basis of that was spoken millions and many millions and millions of years ago. And here it's saying that the Bhagavad Gita verse, the supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way.
И вот этот стих здесь в комментарии упомянут из Бхагавад-гиты 4.2, где говорится, это высшая наука передалась по сути духовных людей, так как молодила праведные цари.
So in the beginning of the universe, the kings, the leaders, were all saintly.
И в начале образования Вселенной лидеры, цари, они были преданными Господу.
They were called Rajarshis.
И их называли Раджариши.
Rajarshi is made up of two words, Raj and Rishi.
И вот Раджарши есть два слова, Радж и Риши.
So Raj means the king,
И Радж означает это царь,
and Rishi means a saintly person.
и Риши это означает святой святая.
So these were kings, but they were great devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they managed their kingdoms based on the instructions and guidance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at least in the past, when the such saintly kings were in charge, the matters in the material world were managed very nicely. And because they were managed very nicely, which included the king making sure that the yajna was performed, then all the material necessities of life were given very, very easily. So there was at that time, those times, there was no shortage of food. No shortage of food means that there's no lack of it. There was little conflict between people in society. Life was the world was very favorable for engaging in spiritual spiritual activities for the ultimate benefit of life. And the king, in each age, the king had to make sure that all the people of the world were engaged in the sacrifice for that particular age. In the Satya Yuga, the process was the yoga system. It was called Ashtanga Yoga system. And Ashtanga Yoga system means Ashtanga, means eight. It's like 8 parts yoga system. But because at that time people were very advanced in spiritual consciousness, So no one had to tell them to do it. Everyone just engaged in that yoga practice.
И сатья-йогу люди, они были настолько продвинуты, им не надо было говорить, что нужно делать. Они знали, как практиковать йогу, чем заниматься.
And then in the Treta Yuga, the next age,
И в Третья-йогу, следующую йогу,
the process of sacrifice were these big fire sacrifices.
и Третья-йогу это сатья-йога для жертвоприношения.
We also do little sacrifices here sometimes,
И мы тоже здесь иногда делаем небольшие жертвоприношения.
but our fire sacrifices here are nothing compared to what they did then.
И наши яги, жертвоприношения, они не сравнимы с теми, которые происходили в Третьей-йоге.
And those sacrifices of that nature was a means for becoming God realized in that age.
И в Третьей-йогу люди, они были богоосознающие личности.
So the king had to make the emperor of the world
И царь или император мира,
had to make sure that all the people of the world did something to participate in these sacrifices.
и он наблюдал, что каждый он принимал участие в этих ягах, жертвоприношениях.
The other kshatriyas, the other kings around the world, they had to provide wealth, jewels, different kinds of paraphernalia for this sacrifice.
И вот права
Yeah, and
и царь или император, он предоставлял все возможности, были такие, как бы, парфенарии золота, серебра, драгоценных камней, жемчуга, изумрудов.
I don't know in detail how every member of society was engaged, but the king had to make sure that everyone did according to their ability.
Я не знаю подробно, как это было, происходили все эти яги, но царь, он, император, он как бы занимал всех в служениях, чтобы они принимали участие в приношении ягод.
But the king had to make sure that everyone in his kingdom did engage in some kind of activity that will help in this sacrifice.
И он наблюдал, направлял, чтобы каждый в его царстве, император, чтобы был занят служением, чтобы каждый принимал в том, чтобы как содействовать, помогать яге.
And in that way, all the people of the whole world received benefit from the sacrifice.
И естественным образом они получали благо от этой яги, от жертвоприношения.
They received material benefit in the form of many forms.
И получали благо различных видов.
The rain would come at the right time.
Дождливые давали в правильное время.
And in the right amount, not too much, not too little.
Да, и достаточное количество, не так, что слишком много или слишком мало.
There was no shortage of food.
И было достаточно очень продуктов, еды.
There was jewels and those kind of valuable gold jewels. All these things were just on top of the ground. They were very easy to have for anyone.
И все вот эти драгоценности, драгоценные камни, джулери, это там украшения, бриллианты, изумруды, золото, оно было на поверхности земли, не надо было тяжело добывать.
So by everyone assisting in the sacrifice, all the material necessities were taken care of. By everyone in the world participating,
Каждый, кто он принимал участие в совершении яги,
then everyone in the world received those material benefits that I just mentioned.
и каждый понимал, что каждый, кто принимал участие, все люди старшие получали благо от этой яги, от этого приношения.
And they also received spiritual benefit
Они также получали духовное благо от этой яги.
to help them to develop love of God.
И это помогало им развивать любовь к Богу.
And then in the Dwapara Yuga, the method was deity worship.
И в Двапара-югу это был метод как бы поклонения божествам.
And again, we also engage in deity worship here.
Мы также заняты во многих храмах тоже поклонением божествам здесь.
But in our deity worship, if we can get 2 or 3 pujaris together at one time, we're doing pretty good.
И если у нас 2-3 пуджари, то это очень удачно.
But there were temples then that where there were hundreds of pujaris engaged every day.
Но в Двапара-югу сотни, тысячи людей были заняты служением поклонения божествам.
And that was possible because in that age, Dwapara Yuga, the kings had to make sure that everyone in society contributed in some way towards the worship of the deity.
И в то время это возможно, в Двапара-югу, то, что царь, он вдохновлял императора, что люди, они были заняты поклонением божествам.
And that, by participating in that deity worship, by participating in the deity worship,
Принятие или служение, занятость служением божествам,
the people in general received good material benefit and good spiritual benefit.
и люди, естественно, царство, они получали огромное благо, как материальное, так и духовное продвижение.
But now we're in Kali Yuga,
Но мы сейчас живем в Кали-юге,
and in Kali Yuga, the method is Sankirtan.
и метод в Кали-югу есть санкиртанная энергия.
And Sankirtan means the congregational chanting of the holy names.
Санкиртана означает это совместное воспевание святой музыки.
And of course, we also chant Hare Krishna like japa privately.
Конечно, мы читаем на джапе, малами, тоже свои круги.
Because in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to do the previous level of deity worship with hundreds of pujaris.
Конечно, в Кали-юге невозможно сотни кто-то были заняты поклонением божествам. It's actually it's possible because in India, like many temples, there are like so many people, hundreds, like Vrindavan, Radharani, 100,000 pujaris, they're coming different days, they are worshiping Jesus.
But
Balaram, there is so many
yes, but the society is not organized so that the people in general can be benefited by this.
Но обычно люди не все заняты поклонением божествам.
See, just like here, we have a temple and we have do deity worship.
Но у нас вот в храме Юги тоже мы делаем поклонение божествам.
And although this building here is, I'd say, the most important place in all of Miami.
И этот храм, который находится в Майами, я говорю, что это самое важное место в Майами.
But the mayor of Miami or the governor of Florida are not organizing all the people of the state to support the local Hare Krishna temple.
И, конечно, правительство, руководство города, оно не занимает людей в поклонении божествам и поддерживает этот храм.
So anyway, in this age, the process is not deity worship. The process is chanting the holy names of the Lord.
И в этот век не заняты поклонением божествам, а метод есть как бы совместного внимания с божеством.
And although the government is not necessarily encouraging the chanting,
И, конечно, руководство, лидеры, они, конечно, не заняты совместным воспеванием.
but the government's not is not encouraging the chanting.
И
But-
государственные лидеры, они не вдохновляют людей воспевать свое имя совместно.
But the people in general at least have the ability to chant Hare Krishna.
Но у всех есть возможность, каждого лидера, в правительстве тоже есть возможность воспевать, совместно воспевать святое имя Господа.
Anyone and everyone can chant the holy names of the Lord.
Каждый и везде может воспевать совместно святое имя Господа.
So our duty as members of ISKCON is
И
to
наша обязанность членов ИСККОН
is to not only practice Krishna consciousness here at the temple,
не только практиковать в храме сознания Кришны,
but to see how we can share this knowledge with general society.
и также распространить это в обществе, это сознание Бога, сознание Кришны.
And actually, the general society, even if they don't come here, they're getting spiritual benefit because of the devotional service that goes on.
И даже если люди, они не приходят в храм, то поскольку здесь проводятся яги, поклонение божествам, совместное воспевание святого имени, то каждый получает благо.
Just like in 5,000 years ago in the forest of Naimisharanya,
Как в лесу на Мишаране 5000 лет назад,
the many great sages came together to perform a sacrifice.
и многие мудрецы святые приходили туда, на Мишаране, чтобы совершить жертвоприношение яги.
That sacrifice was not just chanting Hare Krishna,
В то время это ягья была жертвоприношение не воспевание святых имен Господа.
the sacrifice was to speak and hear on the subject of the Srimad-bhagavatam.
В то время было разговаривать, обсуждать на предмете Шримад-бхагаватам.
And that particular place, Naimisharanya Forest, was chosen for a specific reason.
И это место было выбрано для определенных целей.
It's stated in the Srimad-bhagavatam that when Lord Brahma created all the planets and so on in the universe, he
Когда Господь Брахма творил Вселенную, и вот это место на Мишаране,
when he created everything, he envisioned a big wheel with a center.
и это место как в центре, как колесо Вселенной, и в центре где ось находится на Мишаране.
And that center in the universe was Naimisharanya Forest.
И вот это центр как раз это был на Мишаране, лес на Мишаране.
And because of that, they were performing the that sacrifice there so that the everyone in the entire universe could be benefited by what they were doing there.
И мудрецы, людей, которые совершали бессмысленные старания, вот это слушание и обсуждение Бхагаватам, люди, они получали благо во всей Вселенной.
So in that way, devotional service can be performed in one place, and everyone around can get benefit from that devotional service.
Преданное служение таким образом устроено, что оно совершается в одном месте, но благо получает везде, повсюду.
If there wasn't devotional service going on in the world, then the world would be in a much more difficult position than it is now.
И если преданное служение не совершалось бы сейчас, то этот материальный мир, он выглядел намного ужаснее, деградированнее.
Any questions?
Какие-то вопросы?
Такой вопрос. Очень часто говорится о благе. Вот благо, благо.
So many times talking about benediction.
А в чем измеряется это благо? Как понять? Потому что хотелось бы где-то получить измеримое объяснение блага.
What's the like benediction? What kind of benediction? Many people talking about food or benediction, but how to understand what the benediction?
Well, which benedictions are you referring to?
О каком благе?
Вот вы 4 раза сказали слово «благо» в течение перевода.
There's like so many times you mentioned there, like when devotional service, like participate and
Yes. Everyone's got benefited. I said benefited probably, not benediction.
How to measure benefits?
Oh, okay. There's something called agyata sukriti. Agyata sukriti. Sukriti means pious results. And agyata means without one being knowledgeable of it.
Никто что не может.
Agyata. Sukriti. Agyata sukriti. It means pious activities or pious results obtained without one actually knowing that they're getting it. Yes. It's just like jhana means knowledge, and agyana would be the opposite of that in Sanskrit. So agyata means knowing, and agyata means without knowing. So anyway, what is the actual benefit? So they're called pious activities. So there are 3 kinds of pious activities, depending on what you're looking for, what you're doing. There's 3 kinds of pious activities. There's the kind of pious activity that gives you good material benefits in the future. There's the kind of pious activities that can help someone become elevated to the merge in the Brahma Jyoti. And there's the kind of pious activities which is favorable for bringing one closer to on the spiritual path. So by chanting Hare Krishna, or by hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, or by hearing the Srimad-bhagavatam, or by getting the benefit because someone else is speaking Bhagavatam, even if you don't hear it. All this produces a certain kind of pious results. And so even without knowing it, people around and even people all over the universe are getting benefit by these spiritual activities. And by that spiritual benefit, one comes closer and closer to being able to come in contact with Guru, who will give them knowledge of the path. By receiving this spiritual pious activity, even if you have not personally tried to get something, you are being benefited in such a way that you will come closer and closer to being able to it'll help you with the spiritual life. Like that. So that's the benefit of engaging in these spiritual activities. Okay. Yes, that's so. So everyone.
But also, I want to.
Yes.
You in the beginning mentioned like people, like between people, know those conflicts. How is possible? Because Kali Yuga, everyone fighting each other.
Yes, that was in the beginning, especially in Satya Yuga. People were very much mode of goodness.
But right now you can feel like everyone fighting.
Yes. Everyone is fighting. Yes. That's right.
How is possible? Devotees practice like first meditation, spiritual life, and between each other they have conflict.
Because we're practicing. We're not Krishna conscious yet.
Мы просто практикующие, но мы еще не сознающие Кришну, поэтому между нами существует конфликт.
Так как же тогда, мне просто интересно с научной точки зрения измерить это благо. Вот мы практикуем, благо, в результате конфликт.
экзистенция денежных.
Where is benefit? Because many devotees comes, for example, 1 year, 5-year practices and go away. Where is their benediction?
Well, they go away, but whatever spiritual benefit they got, they do not lose that. They may be.
И даже если преданный там какое-то время практикует, это благо, оно никуда не денется.
There will never, in any spiritual advancement we make, we do not lose that.
И какое бы духовное продвижение мы не делали, мы не теряем.
If for some reason we choose to give up Krishna consciousness for some time, still that spiritual benefit remains, but it remains dormant.
И он как бы не проявлен это. Вот мы получаем какое-то благо, но оно еще
Dormant means that it may not manifest immediately.
не проявлено сразу, проявится.
But after some time, that same person, if they again take up the path of Krishna consciousness,
И то же самое личность, оно принимает это сознание Кришны.
then they could start off or continue, I should say, from where they left off.
И оно начинает практиковать с такого момента, на котором оно остановилось.
Right? That's why when in this lifetime, if someone takes up Krishna consciousness, one person is like very enthusiastic, it stays with it and keeps going on for their whole life.
И некоторые они принимают этот процесс преданного служения на всю жизнь, и они полны энтузиазма,
And then someone else may take it up and come and leave and come and leave, and just can't get it.
Они приходят, практикуют, потом уходят, потом снова приходят, снова практикуют, опять уходят, и так необходимо.
In reality, we've all probably spent many lifetimes gradually coming to whatever point we're at.
И может понадобиться несколько жизней, много жизней, чтобы мы пришли к этому уровню.
And so in that way, so whatever good spiritual activity we've engaged in, we will keep that, and we will not lose that, and then we'll build on that in the future as long as we are practicing Krishna consciousness.
Вот какая бы деятельность мы не совершили, это оно все у нас останется, и в будущем мы продолжим.
Did that answer your question? Or no?
Я спрашивал просто это для того, чтобы, скажем так, объяснять, объяснять тем, кто интересуется. Мне такие вопросы задавали.
There somebody asked me this question, and I asked it just in future explain somebody, so explain what the benefits of
И я подобным образом отвечал, но мне аргументировали, что это лишь вопрос веры, нет никаких доказательств, что это действительно так. И я не мог ничего ответить на это. Proof.
Yeah. Yes, there's scientific proof, but you got to follow the process. You have to follow the science. We call this the science of bhakti yoga, right? And just like in material science, we always give the example. You have to put hydrogen, oxygen under certain conditions, it can turn into water.
материальное водород, кислород, они как-то соединяются, я не знаю, как правильно перевести, но вода происходит.
Anyone who follows that process in the same way, they'll get the same result.
И кто бы не делал это, придет тот же самый результат, придет к тому же.
So in the same way, we have a science, and if we follow,
В то время мы имеем тоже науку.
and if someone takes up the path of Krishna consciousness,
Но кто-то принимает сознание Кришны,
they chant Hare Krishna,
воспевает святое имя,
give up the sinful activities,
оставляет греховную деятельность,
be, how do you say, mindful, mindful. Mindful means being conscientious. Wait. Just like a nectar of instruction, there are 6 activities which are favorable for spiritual life, and there are 6 activities that need to be avoided if you want to advance in spiritual life. Like that. So if someone takes up the process and they follow the rules and regulations, and of course if they have a humble attitude in doing this, the process will work for anyone. It's a science. But if someone says, okay, I'm going to prove that your science does not work, I will chant Hare Krishna, I'll follow the principles, and I'm going to prove that this does not work. Okay. Sorry. Okay. We'll try it. Okay. So if someone wants to prove that Krishna consciousness is not real, that you actually do not, that if you follow the process, they want to prove that you will not get spiritual benefit. Then they may make an argument that I will chant Hare Krishna, I'll follow the principles, but I will prove to you that I will not become Krishna conscious. And they probably will not become Krishna conscious, because part of the process requires humbly submitting to the directions of spiritual master. It requires, in Nectar of Instruction, being enthusiastic to succeed, having confidence that the process that I'm doing will make me Krishna conscious, and being patient, because it still takes time. So if someone wants to prove that this does not work, then it probably will not work for them because they're not following the process.
Спасибо. Просто обычно происходит по-другому. Человек наиболее энтузиастично, когда он приходит, и он не хочет доказывать, что это не работает, но он хочет, чтобы это работало. Ну да, уже надо заканчивать.
Okay. Well, Okay, let's end the class for the online right now, and